Yo, guys, so you're sitting there and you're thinking, dang, I just don't feel like I'm able to branch out. If only there was something I could do to separate myself from other creators. Well, first of all, get this negative talk out of your head because that's just not healthy. And next, you're in luck because in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can use artificial intelligence to create this insane effect that I haven't seen anybody else do. So strap in, get ready, and let's get straight into this tutorial. And if you want the project file for this and any of my other projects, you can check out my Payhip because the link is in the description below. It includes project files, my editing pack is in the description below. All right, we need a really simple clip, so I'm just gonna land and slide. I'm just gonna try to edit that. Alright, so I'm in After Effects and I have already synced up the clip, so this is what my time map looks like, and I'm just gonna play this through. All I've done is sync up the clip. So, also this song is fire. If any of you guys make a video or montage to this song, you gotta show me it because this shit is fire. Alright, so we've just synced it up, and this is the clip that I'm going to apply the trippy AI effects on. So on this split clip with the timer map, I'm just going to pre-compose it and call it trippy comp. So you might have seen my tutorial on how to make Fortnite look like the 1990s, and this is going to be kind of a similar process because what we need to do is separate this layer into a character layer and a background layer. And the background layer cannot contain the characters. So that means we have to use content aware. So I'm actually gonna pre-compose this again, right click pre-compose and call it timer mapped layer. And I'm doing that because since we're going to Roto Brush, I can't have it be a timer mapped layer. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, and then on this layer duplicate, we're going to rename this to Roto. So I'm gonna change this to full resolution in our preview. Click Alt W, or you can click this Roto Brush tool, and we're going to double click that layer, and now we can start Roto Brushing. So just outline the character and make sure that nothing else is inside of your selection. And you can click Alt to get rid of areas that you don't want to select. So I recommend using After Effects 2022 because the Roto Brush is really good and I'm gonna make the quality best. And here we have some grass going on, and it's okay if this isn't perfect. Like, just make sure you get a general outline of the character. Alright, so we have finished our roto. So if I turn off this bottom layer, we can see we have a pretty good roto. It's obviously like a little weird on the feet, but that's fine. And to make this run really smooth, what I actually like to do is go to composition and add to render queue, and then change this output module to RGB plus alpha inside the video output. And then I have a folder that I can call exports, and I'm just gonna call this Roto1. And now when I render this, and it's gonna be really fast, so I can put that back into my composition. Select that Roto and put it inside my folder, and now instead of a composition with a Roto brush effect, I have a pre-rendered AVI file. I like to do that because it usually makes things run smoother, so feel free to also do that. It doesn't really matter though. So to make it more simple, I'm going to delete this Roto composition layer. Now we can re-enable my timer mapped layer, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this again. I've done this in some of my tutorials. What you're going to do is alpha invert matte this timer mapped layer so that we have some transparent space where this Roto is. And the reason I'm doing this is because we need our character area to be filled in by content aware. But if you look closely, we also have some things that we want to also be inside of that transparent area that are not inside of it. So to fix that, I'm going to search up an effect called Simple Choker. And then I'm going to just lower that matte to be like a huge blob. And I'm going to duplicate that because we have a bit of a large blob here. So now we have this, which looks pretty good, guys. I don't know. So now if we go to our side panel, we have content aware fill, and we have this little bubble as our fill target, and that's exactly what we want to fill. So you're gonna just, I like to keep the settings the same, and generate a fill layer. Any of that transparent area, this transparent area here is gonna get filled in. And while that's loading, I just wanna mention that you can download project files like this, and really good project files that include all of the footage and the overlays and all the effects and shakes that I use. I just revamped the store so it looks super sexy. Feel free to check it out. The link is in the description because I love you guys and I hope you enjoy. That's pretty good. I've had better renders, but it really doesn't matter all that much. All right, I'm going to go to composition and I need to add this to render queue. This is the part where I use the trippy websites that use some artificial intelligence. This is like the key part of the video. So if you guys have not dropped a like yet, please drop a like on this video if you think this is a helpful tutorial, and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already because it helps out a lot. Now, get ready, brace yourselves. This part is important. We need to go to our render settings, output module, and we want the format to be PNG sequence. Just rename this to bracket ### bracket. So I'm gonna make a new folder called tutorial and open that up. And I want a folder that I can export this sequence to. So I'm going to rename this video. And then the next folder I wanna make is called keys. Now I'm also gonna make a new folder called Deep Dreams, and that's where I can mess around with some experiments. You'll know why I'm making these 3 main folders in a second. So I'm gonna open up video, and with this as the name, it's just going to export every PNG from that export as a number. So save that and render. All right, so I finished rendering and I'm going to look up deepdreamgenerator.com. This is in the links in the description below, so if you want to follow along, feel free to also go on this website. You can do it your own ways as well, like there's other websites and you can also draw your own frame, but I'm going to do it this way. And the way this works is we're going to choose one of the frames that we just exported, because we exported this as a PNG sequence, and then that frame is going to be altered into one of these styles. And then we're going to use an AI application like Absinthe, which I'm going to show you how to do, and that's going to use that frame to generate a sequence. So if that doesn't make sense, don't worry. This is all super simple. Just watch how I do this and it'll make a lot of sense. So first step is to choose the base image. So upload a file. I'm going to go to my tutorial folder and go to the video file and choose a frame that you think represents the whole footage pretty well. So generally some frame in the middle is pretty good. So I'm going to choose frame 215, for example. We have chosen frame 215 in this case, and I recommend starting a new tab and just writing that down so you remember it, because we're gonna refer to that frame later. So that's finished uploading and you wanna click that frame. Now you can choose a style image. So you can mess around with this. Doesn't really matter which style you go with. I'll choose something pretty crazy for the tutorial. So like, this colorful bit of flowers is looking interesting. And in settings, I'm gonna do a megapixel, but it doesn't really matter if you keep it at a lower resolution and then scale it up, because we're gonna adjust it anyways. And then you can just leave these default, feel free to mess around with them, and then click generate. So now it's going through a huge network of pictures and patterns to generate something that works well with our image. Wow, okay. So that finished exporting. We're gonna right click on that and save image. And that's where I'm going to go back to my tutorial folder and put it into the Deep Dreams. So you can save that file in your Deep Dreams folder. And we wanna be on frame 215. So if you look in the left here, you can see which frame you're at and drag it here. So this is frame 215. So that means when I go to open up that Deep Dream picture, I can just put it here and put it on top here, and that's on the same exact frame. So I'm gonna scale it up so it matches, and you can mess with the blending mode. This is really intense, so I have to mess with something that starts to make it look better. So soft light is pretty good. I'm going to Control-Alt-Y to make an adjustment layer. So I just added a bunch more adjustment layers to transform the image to look more like this. So this is still on frame 215, and I've just adjusted the Deep Dream file that we just saved to make it look a little better with some cartoon and some color adjustments. So now I can go to composition, save frame as, and output module, change that to PNG. And then I'm going to click the output to, and this is going to be our keyframe. We can call this 0215 because that is the exact frame that we're using as our keyframe. So I'm going to save that, render, and now we have that frame. So in our tutorial folder, we have keys, we have video, and these are the two main folders. So now we're going to use Absinthe, which is also in the description below. So just download that, it's free, and open that up. And we're going to drag keys onto the keyframes file and video onto the video tab. So we've given it our folders and our pictures, and I just click run all. And that's going to generate a new output folder where it's using the keyframe and our video to combine them together to create a final video. All right, so that synth just finished. So I'm going to go to my project panel and import by right clicking and then click import file and go to your main folder, go to your output and click the first frame here. And we want it to import as a PNG sequence. So make sure that is checked. Great, import that and put it into a folder that makes sense. So put it as an export and import that in the top of your Trippy comp. This is how that's playing out instead of the original, which was this. So instead of that, we have this, which is pretty freaking cool. So now we have Trippy comp. Now we can put our original Roto on top of that as well. So we have this, and now since this is not only is this background content aware, but it's also got Trippy effects on it. So when we import this Roto, we can scale it up and add whatever effects we want. For example, I could look up Twitch if you happen to have the Twitch plugin, start messing around with some values and enable like light and slide. Just mess with these values a little bit. Then we could also add some turbulent displacement and keyframe the amount and size. Let me click U and take out those keyframes. So I'm going to put those keyframes at the beginning and have the size go up as the amount goes down. And then I'm going to put those at the end. So I'm just making it get really swirly and then just calm down. And I'm going to F9 to easy ease those as well. I'm also going to keyframe the amount on the Twitch and just going to adjust the graph so that it's a little more gradual. Let me open the speed graph. So let's see. So now it's synced up with the Twitch and turbulent displacement. All right, that's crazy. That looks so sick. Also add some exposure. I feel like exposure on the character is a little weak. And you can also add some glow. So any glow will work. Also to look up effects, I'm using FX Console, which is a free plugin by Video Copilot. And I'm gonna search out Film Glow, which is a BCC plugin effect. Not necessary, but it's a cool glow that might work better. Damn, that's so sick. So there's a bunch of other directions you could take this. That's the main way I go about doing it. So you can continue this with more clips. You can add shakes, overlays, and zoom in here. But in terms of how to make this look trippy and use AI to create this effect, this is the exact process that I use in order to achieve it. So that's how you use AI to make a super trippy effect for your montages, for your Fortnite edits, whatever you want. And I hope you guys really found this helpful. And this is one of my favorite effects to do. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I love you all so much. And truly, stay cozy, stay comfy, and stay hydrated. Peace.